Hi everyone, I am going to present before you one of my short stories. The name of the short story is A Harbinger of Hope. This is from my collection Stories That Breathe, and which I had written 2 years back. And this particular story collection consists of 20 stories which are completely based on lives of some or other women. Okay, few of them are real stories and some are fabricated stories, or some are which I have taken the inspiration from some real incidents and I have made it into a story. So this is my first story, A Harbinger of Hope. I will read it out to you. The scorching sun forced Avantika and her friends to take a break from their busy schedule and to go to the canteen for having cool drinks. As they were walking to the canteen, nearby the new building of their office, which was undergoing construction, her friend Mridula spotted a little child who seems to be of 3 years old, covered with dust, playing with her toy aeroplane. Her hair seemed all tangled, and there was a red ribbon that tied up all her hair, which implied that she was not an orphan. She was wearing a torn dress, probably offered by someone. While Avantika and her friends were making speculations about the child, a girl of about 11 years old came by and fed her with the water collected from the pipe. Avantika and her friends assumed her to be the child's eldest sister. Her hair was dusty too, and her hair seemed like it had not seen water for many days. Dun-colored she was, and she had a nose ring, metallic lotus shaped. She wore a yellow dress which looked quite worn out and too old to be worn. She had a torn book with English letters, and she was constantly making effort to join the letters together to form words. Meanwhile, she attended the child in between. Avantika and her friends wondered as to how these two reached their office premises as they walked through the corridor. They entered the canteen and had their cool drinks along with bhajis, mulaga bhaji, which was very crispy along with a spicy chutney. All three of them expressed their concern for those children and thought how parents fail in taking care of the children they beget. Avantika's friend commented, "Why to procreate so many children when one is unable to take care even of one child?" Avantika expressed her concern that maybe they don't know about the birth control measures, or maybe they are not able to afford contraceptive pills. And gradually the discussion deviated into the office matters, issues at home, and everything under the sky. While paying the bill, they had a small conversation with the canteen Anand and they headed towards their office. As they were walking, they saw the construction work in progress. The daily wage workers were filling up the cement and carrying it to the site. Mridula pointed at a lady running towards the children and consoling the crying child by carrying her and wiping her tears with the cement-cladded fingers. She seemed to be in a hurry, as she was called by her co-workers to return to work. As it was time for them to be back to their office, they hurried by. That evening, when they were returning home, Avantika looked for the children and their mother, but they were gone. Avantika's home was at a walkable distance from her office. She walked as fast as she could not wait to hold her child in her arms. As she walked, thoughts overpowered her conscience. How much the lady is suffering to bring up her children. Where is her husband? Does she have a husband? Or is he a drunkard? Her thoughts failed to pursue. She reached home, had a bath, and prepared tea for the family. Her daughter Taruni, whom everyone lovingly called Taru, came to her. She just started to take her first steps. Avantika's mother-in-law was a selfless and dedicated social worker. She was a kind woman who never treated Avantika like a daughter-in-law. She was more like a daughter to her mother-in-law. Avantika's husband being at work, those were the times of the afternoon that she and her mother-in-law, whom she lovingly called Amma, got to spend time together, discussing on everything that mattered to them on that day, that mattered them on that day. Avantika shared with her mother-in-law the story of the woman and her two kids. She told, Amma, how much struggle the woman has to undergo to earn for the daily living. How much money she would be getting. A maximum of 300 or 400 rupees for one whole day's work under the scorching sun. Inequality is also there in the wages of the daily workers. Men get more pay than women, even though the work pressure is the same. Avantika discussed with Amma how that elder one was trying to read. Amma told, why don't you take the easy learning books and give it to that girl? Those books are simply lying in the cupboard. When Taruni grows up, we can buy another. Amma did have a collection of it all, being a social worker. Lost in their conversations, both of them didn't know how the time passed by. Everyone used to envy the bond that both of them had for one another. Usually, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law are portrayed having a cold war, whereas these two had love and affection for one another, unlike the kind of in-laws one may find in the television serials. Vishal, Avantika's husband, came and she prepared coffee for him. Vishal loves coffee and his reaction after drinking coffee is same as what we see in the advertisements. When she sees him drinking the coffee with that expression on his face, she sighed. This man, I'm so blessed to have him in my life. He could have forced Avantika to sit at home taking care of the household chores, but he allowed her to go to office as she really wanted to work after her marriage and even after being a mother. Meeting new people, interacting with new people, conducting interviews, and all excited her always. Vishal is a busy man, but he never failed to spare time for his family. He would always spend time with his mother as soon as he freshens up. He would take little Taru out to the lawn and make her walk on the grass. Children should walk on grass and be close to earth, he says. Avantika went to him and they sat in the lawn, letting little Taru play with the sand. As she shared with him all the day's happenings, she also shared with him her observation about the woman. He didn't say anything much, but just listened to her. Vishal was a silent man always, and she respected his silence too. She never complained and carried on the chores of the evening, starting from gathering the teacups and clearing of the leftover snacks. That night, Avantika felt it hard to get a good sleep. Some thoughts seemed to be bothering her, haunting her mind. She remembered how she rushed home to have a glance of her child, and the picture of that woman rushing to her children with her cement cladded hands tormented her. She regretted for cribbing about her salary and for not being satisfied with the job she had. At least she had a cabin of her own, an air conditioned room, and a cushioned chair, while this woman worked in the scorching sun for the entire day for that mere wage just to meet her ends. It is only when we see the people with poor living conditions that we really understand how blessed we are. She slowly fell asleep with the weight of her thoughts. The next day, Avantika carried with her the books that Amma gave for that girl. She waited for the interval and found the kids there. She gave the elder girl the textbooks and she brought them sweets from the canteen. This continued for a week, and one day, while she was conversing with the children, their mother came. The children couldn't understand Avantika's language, but they understood the tone of humanity. Their mother was a Tamilian, and though Avantika couldn't understand Tamil, the lady understood Malayalam and spoke to Avantika in a Tamil slang version of Malayalam. She told Avantika that she used to be at home till her husband died. He was also a construction worker who died in the site as a result of an accident. The company offered her a little cash and a job offer, and thus she started working. She said she had completed her studies till 8th standard and had to stop her studies as her Periappa, who was her only support, died. Her husband used to be her Periappa's favorite and thus he married her to support her. After telling this much, she left soon as she was called by her co-workers. As Avantika reached home that day, Amma asked her whether that child was happy to get the textbooks. She told Amma the life story of that woman, and Amma suggested that as they would soon need somebody to help them in the household works, Avantika could take her to their home for assisting Avantika in the household chores. Vishal didn't agree in the beginning, but after a few days he complied. Avantika still remembered how happy the lady and her children were. She took them home and they treated the family members like gods. Avantika's child, little Taruni, thus got a friend and an akka. The woman's name was Kanagam and she did all the household chores while in the evening Amma taught her English. She was a quick learner and learned the language within 2 years, but was hesitant to speak as she was worried about her mother tongue influence. In few years, Kanagam improved quite well. Through Amma's connections, she found Kanagam a part-time job at the office of one of the NGOs where Amma worked. Kanagam is no more the dust-cladded woman, but she got a complete makeover, wearing the new salwars that Vishal gifted her when she got the job. Vishal too accepted them as a part of the family. The eldest child, Aruna, goes to school and Kanagam manages her school fees by herself. Kanagam finishes her household chores by noon and goes for work from 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. The children would be sleeping by that time and she returns by the time they wake up. Amma manages if she is late and Avantika also reach by that time. Life is more meaningful when one lives and leads it with mutual understanding. Kanagam's eldest daughter Aruna has grown into a well-spirited girl and she is now preparing for her board exams, and her younger sister Geeta is now in second standard and her dream is to become a pilot. Once she played with a toy aeroplane and one day she would fly a real aeroplane and soar higher to the horizon. That is the end of the story. I hope you really like this story and you can give your comments. Okay, so thank you so much. Bye.